It's Mack. Welcome back. Episode 30 of Icebreaker. Happy holidays, AJ.
Hey, we made it. I came prepared. If you're listening, I've got the fanciest and fluffiest Santa hat on.
Looking
Uh,
like a good Santa.
we're ready for the holidays. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get going, I just want to say that episode 30 is presented by Ice Gear, and you can find them online through the Winnipeg Ice website. And they got a newly added Icebreaker collection of shirts, hoodies, and then also check them out for sales and deals prior to the holiday season on their social media as well as online. So keep an eye out for that. Lots of good stuff.
They told me you were doing an autograph signing for people who buy Icebreakers t-shirts.
I heard that you were.
McNally Robinson, I think, is where we're doing
like
it.
the book fair.
I want to talk about something, and I probably wouldn't have seen it if I wasn't on Twitter this weekend. It was college ball. Ball State against Western Michigan. You didn't see the end of this game, Mac?
I did not.
You know how college games are. Usually some team needs to score right at the end, so they've got a crazy gadget play in the bag, right?
Yeah.
Western Michigan needs to score to win, and there's just seconds left on the clock. There were 13 laterals. 13 backwards laterals. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
And then Western Michigan fumbled the ball. And Ball State ran onto the field. The whole team emptied out onto the field with a live fumble.
Oh, my God.
And Western Michigan scooped it up and ran it in for the touchdown and won the game with the entire Ball State team on the field.
Only
it might have been the
college.
craziest sports play of the year.
Only in college football.
That's right. And that's what I mean is they just kept throwing it backwards, lateral, and they would chase them down and they'd throw it backwards. They fumbled the ball. It was goofy. It worked. If you're a young football player, never run on the field until they blow the last whistle.
Yeah, no kidding. And one more thing about college football, I just wanted to say, I know it started a couple of weeks ago, but Sarah Fuller on college football became the first female college football athlete to score a point, which is pretty cool. When you really think about it, it's pretty neat to see that. And she went in there and kicked an extra point. So props to her.
Yeah, I want to see this continue. It's a trend now in the NFL with a lot of coaches and referees, and now we've got players in college as well, just women breaking down that barrier in football.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. And then obviously we alluded to the holidays coming up, and this will be our last show into the new year. We're going to take a little bit of a hiatus for the holidays, and then we'll pick back up in the new year.
Yeah, I'm getting fat. That's what I'm doing. I'm just holiday eating. I don't want it to be on any video evidence of it. So,
yeah, by the time we're back, we'll be on the treadmill for at least 2 days before, so we can look good. But nothing happens to our voices, so that's okay.
That's right.
And then also with the holidays coming up, the World Juniors and Team Canada just announced their roster.
Hey, Peyton Krebs made the roster, former ice captain.
That's right. Ice captain Peyton Krebs. I think nine Western Hockey League players on the team. And what they're saying is probably one of the best Team Canadas since the lockout year, I think in 04-05.
If you're an Ice fan, I think we just have to mention it too. Yeah, he may not be on our home team, but Tepley made this squad too, did he not?
That's right. Tepley's back for the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
And he was a good player for them last year in the tournament. So it'll be cool to watch, keep up with, a couple connections there to Winnipeg.
I think this year's so much different too. And just because of the year we've all experienced, it feels, I don't remember the last World Juniors tournament. It feels like it was 5 years ago.
Agreed.
So I think the excitement and the buildup, and usually it starts on Boxing Day. This one's right on Christmas Day, isn't it?
I believe you're right. And just to get this out of the way, because I believe by the time we're back, this will be all settled up. And for the Manitoba Building Trades hot take, you know what? Maybe it's not much of a hot take, but I'm going to go ahead and say that Team Canada is going to come home or stay at home, I guess, because it's in Canada with a gold medal. And that's the Manitoba Building Trades hot take. It's not just any project. It's the opportunity of a lifetime. It's about building something great for Manitoba. That's why you turn to the talent and craftsmanship of Manitoba's expert tradespeople. Manitoba Building Trades is Manitoba's unionized construction industry. Productive labor is our business. With over 10,000 skilled trades professionals, we build what others can only imagine. Visit mbtrades.ca and come build with us. safe to say it's probably a pretty good take.
We've been hammering a lot of lukewarm takes here. I think I picked Pat Mahomes as the MVP of the NFL last week. And picking Canada in the World Juniors is never a real out there blockbuster bold prediction, is it?
It's, you know what, we're just trying to get on the right track here.
We're
just trying to get on the right track, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And then continuing with hockey, the NHL is forging forward with their plans to start playing in the new year, and the NBA starting, like we mentioned last year. But I remember we were doing this, 3 or 4 months ago, talking about all the leagues starting back up. And
it kind of feels good because that's about when we fired this podcast up. It was when we really started to get this segment going. So.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of it's kind of huge. I mean, to be able to watch the sports again. Right now we just have Sundays, right? I guess it's not really. The NFL has been on every day.
The NFL starting next week, by the way, is on what? Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. If a COVID team shows up, there could be a Tuesday game. Maybe there'll be a game on a Wednesday. Who knows?
You know what?
We haven't had Friday night football yet.
You're right. And
because that's CFL trademarked.
We can laugh about the NFL. I think last week there was Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, but they've done a good job and no games have been canceled.
Yeah, I was really upset after that Baltimore game, which they had moved and they ended up playing on the Tuesday. And then Des Bryant, they told him in the warm-ups,
yeah,
you tested positive, you got to go. I don't know if you watched the Fox analysts beforehand, and Jay Glazer was explaining how Des Bryant's out, but the rest of the team who had close contact with him is in, and the analysts couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Nobody else is out? So it's been iffy at times. I believe Bryant has tested negative since then too, but we're still playing football, aren't we?
The analysts couldn't believe it, and the whole Denver Broncos team couldn't believe it either.
San Francisco, they're getting a pretty bad rap with the COVID too this year. So
they sure are. And anyways, that's over the holiday break. Something to look forward to. The NFL will keep forging on. If you guys listening are in your fantasy football playoffs, good luck. Wish you the best of luck. Today, I think, was the first round matchup. So hopefully you got the W there. But we were talking before the show here about the holiday season, and as a kid it's just so special, the Christmas, the holiday season, something that you look forward to all the time. So we're gonna talk about our top 3 favorite, I guess, traditions or things that you did that you looked forward to the most around the holiday season.
Sure. My number 1 would be, I don't think this still happens. It probably does in some iteration, but back when I was a child in Winnipeg, they used to host it at the convention center. It was called the Festival of Trees.
Okay.
And so what it was, you know what, and thinking back to it as a kid, I must have been hella bored out. But I remember this just being such a well-lit room. It was just dozens and dozens of rows of trees with beautiful lights on them. Now you can go out and you do your Christmas light tours, but I used to go to one spot and just see all these magnificently lit trees. And that was a great tradition. The Festival of Trees, I believe it was called.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to do that. Maybe I'm a few.
You might be younger than me.
Yeah, just a few. But the one that comes to mind immediately that I looked forward to was on Christmas Eve. I could never sleep, so I just stayed up all night watching Home Alone, Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2, or whatever Christmas movie I could find. I was just laying there waiting. And then, there's that certain time where you end up falling asleep for an hour or two, and then that's when Santa came, obviously, every time.
Sneaky.
I missed him.
Yeah. That's funny that that was your Christmas Eve tradition.
Yeah.
Ours, and this will be the first year of my life that we're actually not following through with this tradition. My whole family gets together on Christmas Eve on my dad's side, and we Christmas carol.
Ooh.
Not door to door, but we all get together, and every year we have the same printed lyrics, and everybody gets their own lyric book, and we all sit around and everybody carols. And so I'm a little bummed that it's not happening this year, but thinking back, that was a big time tradition for us when we were a kid.
You would definitely not want me as part of that choir.
You know what? It wasn't about how good you sang. It was about how loud you sang.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody sang really good in the family, right? So you just built it out as to the best of your ability.
I think my my next one would be every year after we'd open presents in the morning, my brothers and I would go and we would go skating for a couple hours in that like downtime. And we would always go, whether it was an outdoor rink or somewhere else, we would go and we would play some shinny for a few hours. And that was always something that we look forward to, and got a little bit competitive some years, but it was pretty fun.
It's nothing like, the big family day. You have to have a little bit of conflict.
You have to.
It's good that you got that on the rink.
You have to.
This, I hope, is not just a tradition that my family did or still does. Do you have the Christmas crackers on your plate before you have dinner?
No.
You ever see them? They're like little tubes, and they have little bows on the end. So you take it up, and you pull it apart, and it's got this little thing in it that makes noise, and it goes pop. And you get the cheapest, most basic, like, prize that falls out of your Christmas cracker. And like I said, one year I got a shoehorn. There weren't good presents. They always came with really bad jokes, and you would read them around the table. I know they still sell them. And I hope the Christmas cracker is a pretty good tradition. That makes my top 3.
I like that one. I think my last one, in the spirit of giving and doing gifts, is whether it was in school or with the family or with a hockey team that I was playing on, we always did a Secret Santa or a gift exchange, some type of little game like that, where the limit was like, for school, whatever, it'd be like $10 or whatever, but just having that kind of little fun, a game, trying to guess, or you get to steal someone's. Just obviously, the competitive spirit comes out in those as well. Whether whoever
you did that rule where you could steal, though, that was.
Oh yeah, the stealing was the best.
One year I had somebody steal from me. The clapper. Yeah. And then your lights turn on and off. I had the clapper. It got stolen from me. You know what I ended up getting in the end?
No.
Landline telephone.
No, that's pretty funny. I love that. I'm just looking. Obviously, Christmas is going to be different this year for everybody, especially here in Manitoba. But whether whoever you live with your inside your immediate household, I'm sure that you'll find some new things that you'll do this year that when next year rolls around, you're going to be like, oh, we should do that again.
Yeah, you just said it, man. As soon as you start to get bummed out about missing a tradition, see if there's a way that you can start a new one. I like that.
Absolutely. And I think with our guest this week, Brennan O'Donnell, he's a Winnipeg hockey player playing over in Europe right now. And we talk about his career and growing up in Winnipeg and what other sports he played and that type of thing, and how he's made it to the professional ranks. And he's a new dad now. But we talked about at the end of the show what his favorite Christmas traditions were when he was a kid. So that was pretty funny, and definitely a good episode to end the 2020 on.
Yeah, we're looking forward to this. We're going to kick it off right now. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and have a happy rest of your 2020. That's weird to say, isn't it?
Absolutely.
See you next year.
All right, joined by Brennan O'Donnell, close friend all the way from Slovakia. Thanks for joining the show.
Hey, Mack, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. What have you been up to?
Not much. I mean, got the 1-year-old baby now, so pretty much spend my time chasing her around, go to practice, then come home and chase her all around the place. So it's been an adjustment, but it's definitely fun. And, we're enjoying it, making the most of the whole COVID lockdown and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's a little different.
It never stops. Well, growing up, you played hockey, obviously, but you play any other sports other than hockey?
Yeah, I try to do as much as I can. I like baseball. Baseball and hockey were probably my 2 favorites, but played basketball, a little bit of football. But yeah, pretty much baseball and hockey up until I was 14. So.
And you're a pretty good baseball player, I understand it.
Well, good for Manitoba, I think. At the age group, I was okay. And then we went, when we go to nationals and stuff and play BC and Ontario, that's when you kind of see how good some of these baseball players were. So it's pretty humbling, but, still like baseball, still like to watch it. So.
How old were you, I guess, when you decided that you were going to shift it to maybe 100% hockey instead of doing all the other sports?
I think I was 14. I think that's kind of when you started working out and training for hockey and doing a little bit of that stuff. And then with baseball, it just became a little much, and hockey was my passion. So, as much as I didn't want to give up baseball, I thought it was time. It wasn't really going anywhere with it. So, I enjoyed playing hockey, and I was ready to, just focus on that.
And it worked out. Played 4 years at the University of North Dakota. And what was that like, being in an atmosphere like that, but still only 2 hours away from home?
Yeah, it was great. Like, I think when I was 10 years old, playing for the Fort Garry Flyers, I think we went down to Grand Forks and saw the first game. It was first taste of what UND was all about. And since then, it was a dream of mine to play there. And when I got the opportunity, it was an easy decision. They were recruiting me, and I saying, why they want me. Meanwhile, I felt like I was the one they should be trying to sell myself. A program like that, it was an easy decision to go there. And being 2 hours from home, you hear a lot about them. And at the time, I think Jonathan Taves was playing there, so there's a lot of coverage on him. And the team got a lot of press from Manitoba. And for me, it was a goal of mine to go there. And being 2 hours from home was just a bonus. It was easy for my parents to come watch every weekend, and easy for me to go home and see them time off. So, I would have wanted to go there either way, but the fact that it was 2 hours from home, it was definitely a nice. Was nice.
I think I saw this crazy stat back when you were playing there, that the team was undefeated when you scored a goal. Is that true?
Yeah, it was something like. Yeah, I don't even know what I don't know what it was at. I know that was a stat, but to me, all that means is I should have scored more. So.
No, I remember seeing that. That's funny. And then after that, you played 2 seasons in Florida after your college career. And then what was it like playing hockey down in I guess a tropical climate?
Yeah, it was great. It was different. My whole life I'd either play in Winnipeg or Grand Forks. I played 1 year in Penticton. But other than that, it was all about the cold winters. And, all of a sudden you go to Florida for the first time, and you're going to the rink in shorts. And, after practice, you head out to the golf course, you go to the beach. So, it took a little adjusting too, because it didn't really feel like hockey time,
Right.
hockey season. But, once you got used to it, it's tough to beat. Like, I miss those. I miss the lifestyle there, and the schedule is good. They got a really good setup there. And like I said, my golf game, probably got to play 3-4 times a week. And if not, go head to the beach and hang out. So, yeah, it's tough to beat.
Yeah, can only imagine that. That sounds unbelievable. And then in 2016, you're called up to the AHL for some games. And how did you find out about that? And what was that experience like?
It was obviously playing. I didn't want to, I obviously always wanted to play, get called up to the American League, and then I got my chance. And it's funny. I was having a good offensive season in Florida, and then went to the American League and played on the fourth line. I think my first game I played like 2.5 minutes. So it was it was a good experience. It's where I wanted to be, but at the same time, I didn't want to go there and play 2 minutes. So
Right.
Got sent back down. I think it was for the best. But growing up in Winnipeg, I think the Jets left in 96, so we were 4 years old. So growing up, we was always the Moose, and they're in IHL, but then they moved to the American League, and we obviously went to a lot of games and spent a lot of time at the rink there. So I think my first game I played against the Chicago Wolves, which was always a big rivalry of the Moose. So to me, that was pretty exciting, pretty special. I was when I texted your brother Jake when I was playing and just said it was playing Chicago, and it was kind of a lifelong dream to play against them.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that too, because when I have other people on the show that are Winnipeg based or play in the American League, it's funny. I always say that because we didn't have the Jets when we were growing up, the AHL and the Moose was like our NHL, and we looked up to those guys big time.
Yeah, like everyone always asks, like, in Europe here, like you're from Winnipeg, you must be a huge Jets fan. And obviously I am a Jets fan. You know, I like to see them do well, but, you know, we didn't grow up with the Jets. So for me, I was always a Moose fan. You know, I always went to the Moose games, want to see the Moose do well. And so, yeah, I'd definitely say I was more of a Moose fan than I am a Jets fan.
I would tend to agree with that. And then the last 4 years you've been playing in Europe, including last season with Kladno, and I believe that's Jagr's team, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So what was it like playing with an NHL, I guess, legend, right? He's like, what, 45, and he's still going?
No, he turned 48 last season.
48.
He was 48, and yeah. But honestly, like he says it himself, he's like, you see a lot of guys, former athletes that are, you know, in their 50s, and, you know, they've had knee surgeries, hip surgeries, and all that, and he's still playing hockey, and you know, he's still real good. Like, obviously his speed's not where it used to, and, you know, obviously he's lost a bit. But like once he gets in the offensive zone and he protects the puck, and then you still see the flashes of the Jagr in his prime, and it's just like, hey, I've seen that on YouTube videos a bunch. So it was cool getting to play with him. And, you know, you think you know a legend or whatever, but, you know, you don't really know a legend until you're in the room with one. And
Right.
Wherever we would go with him, like everyone, it was always like stop and look at him, and then you kind of realize, like, okay, this guy's a big deal, and he's, you know, it is pretty cool. Definitely an experience getting to play with him.
And there's all these stories or videos of just like crazy things that he does, whether it's like be in the gym at 3:30 in the morning or a warm-up routine. Did you see any of that stuff firsthand that you can tell us about?
Yeah, how much time do you got? So we would always have to be at the rink at like 9:30, or I don't know, I think 9 o'clock, 9:15 maybe. And so I think we'd be on the ice at 10:15. And sometimes Yogs would roll in at like 9:40 or whatever. And, you know, it's kind of thinking like, geez, but he was literally just at the rink 5 hours ago, because he had a weird schedule. Like, he'd be 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, he'd go skate, and then go to sleep for a bit, and then he'd come back and he'd have the ankle weights on and be out there. And I don't know, there's just so much stuff he does. Like before games, when the Zamboni's like cutting the ice, he's out there with a weight vest and ankle weights on and stick handling like these tires that I've never seen before. But then all of a sudden you see all the minor hockey kids out there, and they've got the tires because Jagr does it. So
Right.
you know, he's definitely got a huge influence on the game there. And you know, I think if Wayne Gretzky was there, people would be like, oh, that's Wayne Gretzky. But if Yogs walked by, they'd want a picture with Yogs probably more than Gretzky. So
Yeah, that's pretty neat. And then this year, obviously very unique, 2020, as we all know. But firsthand, I guess, what's it like playing in front of an empty building?
it's weird. Like we got a real nice rink here. It seats 10,000, and you know, going out there and it's just no atmosphere. Like it's I don't know the best way to describe it. But I feel like I'm, you know, 14 playing in front of no one, just dreaming of being able to play in front of
At the Highlander?
yeah, the Highlander or St. Adolphe, just picturing one day playing inside a big rink with a lot of people. And that's, you know, the past, I don't know, since college, that's kind of what it's been, playing in front of sold out stadiums. And then now all of a sudden there's no one there. And it's weird because, you know, you kind of got to create your own atmosphere and energy. And, you know, you're watching video after the game, and all you can hear is, you know, the guys talking on the bench and stuff. There's no crowd, no noise, no nothing. So it's, yeah, not much home ice advantage.
Yeah. Has that been the biggest, I guess, adjustment of this year compared to most?
Yeah, I would say so. And like right at the beginning of the year, like Slovakia was one of the only leagues that was going to start. And I think that's why a lot of players were signing here. And then played the exhibition games. There was allowed, I think, 500 or 1,000 people. And then all of a sudden the COVID cases kind of went up, and all of a sudden they're talking about, you know, there's going to be no season. So we're all sitting here kind of wondering what's going on. Like, hey, do we need to call the agent? Like, hey, do we need to try to find somewhere else to play? And then all of a sudden they allowed the government and the league came to an agreement, and they're going to be allowed to play. And then so we're getting ready for the season, and then a day before our first game, same kind of thing happened, and you don't know if you're going to play or not. And then I think it was delayed a few days, and then they came to another agreement, and they let it let the league start playing. And I think that's been the biggest thing, is kind of adjusting to the delays. And then each team seems to have gotten COVID at some point, so then they quarantine, so the schedule's kind of been mixed around a few times. But it's been I think right now, I think every team's had their quarantine for COVID, and the last probably last month here, it's been pretty smooth and everything's going well. So yeah, right now the biggest thing is no fans, which is it's weird, it's different.
And it just looks weird too, just looking back at the NHL. But I guess as a player, it's just one of those, all like that you were talking about, things with the government and the teams and the leagues, those distractions that you really can't do anything about, but kind of have to park them and just play.
Yeah, like from a player's perspective, we're I'm thinking like, okay, there's got to be there's 10,000 seats, lots of entrances. You think there's a way where maybe they could allow 30-40%.
Yeah.
And that's obviously, I'm thinking that. But then when you're put yourself in the prime minister's of Slovakia, you put yourself in his shoes, and obviously his first concern is the health of his people and the country of Slovakia. So you definitely see both sides of it. And hopefully with the new vaccine coming out, hopefully people take it, and it gets back to somewhat normal. And because I know there's a lot of people that want to come to games, and in Winnipeg miss going to Jets games, and probably do anything to be able to go to a Jets game, and all that type of stuff. So hopefully the future's looking pretty like there could be some improvements here in the next little while. So hopefully it continues in the right direction.
Yeah, and you seem to be doing a decent job with parking that with 17 points in 17 games. But just to wrap it up here, in the spirit of Christmas, what was your favorite Christmas memory when you were a child? What comes to mind?
Ooh. I don't know.
Or tradition or something like that.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like I think at the time, obviously you take it for granted, spending time with your family. And then once you get into pro sports, you always play on the day after Christmas, so other people with their families can come watch hockey. And then since I turned pro, I haven't been able to go home for Christmas. And I think that's probably my best memories is going home, seeing your friends, hanging out with your family, going to the outdoor rink, just kind of get back to the way things used to be. And that's probably the one thing I miss the most is being able to spend Christmas at home with the family.
And I just gotta say before I let you go, I think my favorite Christmas memory of you is when we were in your basement on Christmas Eve and you decided to put an 8-ball through the wall. Because you're taking
that. Your brother Zach did that, trying to bounce it over. I'm pretty sure you did it once or twice too. So,
well, listen, Brennan, thanks for joining the show. Hope you and your family have a happy holidays, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Mac. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Well, that'll just about do it for episode 30 of Icebreaker, and I can't thank you guys enough, AJ and I both, for tuning in every week and listening to us banter on. And I know I've enjoyed every conversation I've had with AJ and all our guests. I hope you guys have as well. I can't believe we're already at 30 episodes.
30, we've got a lot more. I think good things are going to happen in the new year. I think by the time this podcast comes back, we're going to have the NHL to talk about, the NBA, the World Juniors, the football playoffs are going to be around. So a lot of cool banter, like you said. And I predict we're going to nail a couple hot takes in 2021.
That's going to be our New Year's resolution. Well, anyways, wishing everybody a happy holidays. Stay safe, healthy, and we look forward to talking to you in the new year.